Good morning. It's Saturday morning. It's weigh-in day. Yeah, weigh-in day. Oh, man. It's been a pretty good week. Can't complain. For me, I can't even... These days, it's like everything is just so routine that even to try and find something about the week that whether I liked it or I didn't like it or whatever, to me, this is just another loop around the track, you know what I mean? Every week is a loop around the track because I do everything so systematically and nothing really breaks. When you eat the way I do, just nothing breaks the course. You just keep going, and it happens as it happens. Good morning. But to try to find something to say about the week is hard because it's just the same as last week, right? But that's what you want. You guys hear me. You hear me talk about consistency a lot, but I wonder if anyone really understands what consistency means, because consistency is just doing the same process over and over and over again, in a way that, look, you get up in the morning and there's a bunch of things you do without thinking. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, whatever it is. Those things that you do and that just seems like normal function of every morning when you wake up. This is the functions. This is that's what consistency looks like, right? That if you one day for some reason didn't get to brush your teeth because all of a sudden an ambulance is coming because somebody is sick and you're running out of the house and you never even brush your teeth, right? That one time you didn't brush your teeth would not define your legacy, because it would be the anomaly, right? Because you consistently brush your teeth every day. And you also hear me tell you that consistency has nothing to do with perfection, that it is consistent. What you do the majority of the time is what defines you, right? So if you don't like if you can think about what you do the majority of the time and you could say you don't like it, let's start making a plan to make something you would like, something that would make you feel better about yourself, consistent in your life. How do you do that? Listen, everybody knows. You've been following me for a long time. I made the consistency challenge for a reason, or the checklist challenge for a reason. You can go to my website, rantingweightwatcher.com, and you can download the checklist challenge, and you could follow it to the T to build consistency in your life. And if you find that the early phases 1, 2, and 3, you're already doing, then just go skip to 4, whatever it is. And then you could follow that same model to create consistency in any behavior. It's a skeleton, really. It's a skeleton of creating consistency. That's what the checklist challenge is. And that skeleton can be applied to any aspect of your life. And you'll realize that there's just no way of making it perfect, but you'll get results anyway. Because what you do the majority of the time is what brings the results. And so if you're not liking your result much, there's something about what you're doing the majority of the time that needs to change. What that is, that's entirely up to you. Because every choice we make from beginning to current has been made based on what you're willing to do. And I say that all the time to you guys. I say, you gotta be willing. You gotta be willing. None of this I can't bullshit. Everybody likes to use that word can't. There's no such thing as can't. The real word is won't. I will, I won't. Those are the two words. I'm willing, I'm not willing. That's really what our journeys sum up to. People start their journey and they say, I'm not willing to let go of these certain foods, right? And that's fine. you can do that, and it will work for a time if you hold on to certain foods. But you'll find that things slow down, and then you got to be willing to do something else, okay? And whatever that is, and you decide, and you're decided. So long as you stay on the course, you keep deciding, and you keep deciding, and you'll notice something. Look, because this is how it happened with me, right? I decided what I was willing to do in that initial beginning of my journey, the first 6, 7, 8 months, whatever. And what I was willing to do lost me 50 pounds in 8 months on plan. Okay, so that worked for those 8 months. It's just not going to continue working. I have to make a change. I have to add more, because what you're willing to face right now is just the beginning of what you will face. What you feel like you can conquer now is just the first hurdle, right? And there's many more other things that are harder to do, but you build up the wins by facing one at a time. That's the goal, right? You want to face one at a time. You want to do what needs to be done every single day in spite of it. And every behavior has to become consistent in order to do that. You don't defeat anything without consistency. If you're doing this on a whim and one day you're perfect and then for 3 days you're off, I mean, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to build consistency. And consistency is not perfection. It's just consistency. If a student gets a B consistently, that doesn't make them a failure. It just makes them a B student consistently. You can count that when this kid goes and does whatever he's going to do, he's going to get at least a B, because he consistently gets B's. Right? Now, if he works a little harder, maybe he gets that A. This is the same thing. And maybe he does the same amount of work and he still gets a C. But either way, if the majority of the time he's getting B's, he's a B student. The 1C and the 1A aren't changing him as a person. And so the one day that you get perfect is not changing you as a person, right? The one day that you get it right, followed by the 5 or 6 days that you get it wrong, are not changing you as a person. So, if we can take one behavior that you're willing to do, and we make that consistent, right? And we make that consistent over the next 8 weeks. We have to give time limits. We have to give time limits, because the time expiring tells us now something needs to be added. We need to make this harder. So if you don't track at all today, and you grab that checklist challenge, you're going to see phase 1 asks for you to fully track 3 days of the week. So that means 4 days you cannot track if you want, but 3 full days have to be tracked for 8 weeks. And then at the end of that 8 weeks, you will add something, right? So it goes, now we're going to add 2 more days. So it becomes 5 days a week that you're fully tracking. And then 3 days that you used to track, now you're going to add weighing and measuring to those 3 days. So you're weighing and measuring for 3 days, but you're tracking 5. Now you're working 2 behaviors at the same time for the next 8 weeks. And then when that 8 weeks expires, you're adding more and more. All the reason you have to continue maintaining what you were doing in the previous phase, and you're adding what is required in the new phase. And before you know it, you get through all of the phases. The last time I looked at it was a long time ago, but I believe it's 6 phases in total. But you are doing it without thinking by that time. So if every phase is 8 weeks, we're talking about a good amount of time here. That's almost a year worth of work. That's a year plan laid out to you. It essentially, a few weeks, another month added to that. If I added a phase 7 to that, it would be a full year worth of work, right? At least, or close to it. But it's by the end of the whole thing, the idea is you're doing it without thinking. And people hear nonsense like it takes 21 days to create a habit. No, it doesn't. Because you're going to think you have the habit in 21 days because somebody said it. And this whole checklist challenge is about eliminating the thought, right? If you have to consciously decide, okay, it's time for me to track, you're not consistent yet. When it just happens, that's when you're consistent. When you're doing it without thinking, when you do it the same way you wake up and brush your teeth every day, you're doing it without thinking. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be tracking 7 days a week. You could forget one day. But that doesn't make you not consistent because you forgot one day. You understand? That's that same rule with the student. It's the same rule. Either way, you have your methods. And I made a really long video and I apologize. But this is all about building consistent life. We consistently made bad choices to put ourselves in this position. We didn't do it perfectly. We consistently made bad choices to put us in the position. So now your goal is to consistently make good choices to fix your problem. Perfection didn't create your problem. Perfection is not going to fix it. Consistency created your problem. Consistency will fix it. That's all I have to say. It is Saturday. Whatever you're doing today, enjoy yourself. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.